Hey there everybody, Decaff here from wiseflightheadquarters.com, and today I'm very excited about this tutorial because this was a requested tutorial. I've had a long-standing invitation for people to request tutorials ever since I first started making these, and this is, I believe, the second or third one that I've gotten, so yay for that. Nightraven on wiseflightheadquarters.com wanted to know, how do we mirror things? And what a mirror is basically we take an object, like one side of a wing, and flip it over and get it on the other side. But there's things that we got to pay attention to, and that includes how things are aligned. So if we, for example, had this vertex up here that was way up higher than everything else, we want to have on the other side that vertex be up on the tall side as well. So let's talk about the ways that we do this. We have three main ways. The first two are pretty darn close to each other. The only real difference is whether we're doing them in edit mode or object mode, and if we have one object or two objects at the very end of our process. The second one uses a modifier, and there's a mirror modifier that allows us to mirror parts. So we'll get into that last because I don't really use it all that often. So the first thing we'll talk about is in edit mode, the duplicate, move, and scale method. So really straightforward. In edit mode, we're going to select everything and shift D to duplicate it. Now we're not going to touch our mouse or anything while we're doing this because we do not see the coordinate systems that we normally see, like the green, red, and blue arrows that we normally see when we're moving things around. So what I'm going to do is hit enter so that we can actually see that. What that means is that it's locked in, and because I didn't touch my mouse, the duplicated mesh hasn't moved from the original position of the original mesh. So right now we have two overlapping pieces of mesh. Now what we can do is with the N window, all you have to do is press N to get it. It's really the transforms property window. I like to call it the N window because that's how we get it. Is go to the Y axis here because we're trying to shift our Y coordinate, and we're going to hit negative and hit enter to move it with the exact same coordinate, just with a negative value, and that brings it to the other side of our origin in our model. So depending on which axis you're trying to move things around, just pay attention, and you can fiddle around with this. You can hit Control Z or Command Z to undo it, and you'll get right back to the beginning to where you were earlier. So now that we have it moved and duplicated, what we need to do is scale it. And this is very much like WiseFlight Scenery Editor, where we have to scale by -1 in order to flip things around. So we're going to hit S, Y. We don't want to have any confusion. We always want to scale around the Y if we're moving things on the Y, or X if we're moving things on the X. -1. And there we go. There is our wing that is now firmly in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the second way that we're going to duplicate and mirror things. So this is more along what we're going to need when we're dealing with control surfaces that we've cut out of our wing, because we're going to want to have the end result being two objects. With the first method, we have one object that is now on both sides of our model. But with control surfaces like ailerons, flaps, rudders, tail fins, all those sorts of things, we're going to want to have two objects so we can animate them. So right here I have my object center right where I'd be inserting a coordinate system to animate this guy, and I'd be inserting an empty here. But I want this on the other side. So what we're going to do, very straightforward, is the same process. We're going to duplicate it and hit enter. We're going to use the N window to transfer it to the other side. And then we're going to scale it along the y-axis, so SY -1. And now it is on the other side, and it is all set and ready to go, and we have two objects. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the third and final way that we can mirror things, and that is with the mirror modifier. So in object mode, we have a modifier section down here where we can change shapes and things and do some pretty complicated things. You'll notice that shrink wrap is also in here. Subsurf is also another commonly used modifier here, but we're going to want to use the mirror, and it's going to open up a little menu down here. And the first thing that we notice is that there's no mirroring going on here. What's going on? We wanted a mirror. Well, we have to tell it which way we're mirroring. We want to mirror around the y-axis. And now we can see the preview coming into play. Now you may be thinking, well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the other side of my, I wanted the mirror to extend out over here. Well, this is because it mirrors around the object center. So if we close out of this real quick, go into edit mode, move along the y-axis, so that now our object center is right there, and we hit the add modifier, mirror around the y-axis. Now we can see that this is actually going through here. Now I generally do not use this method because it's kind of a pain to set up. It's all about the object center. I much prefer to just go into edit mode using the first method that I showed you guys and going about my mirroring that way. So now that you have some tools available to you, you should be able to mirror things precisely, which will simplify how you go and make things. It'll really cut down on some times for symmetrical parts. So hope this helps you guys.